You aren't lazy. You're actually in the middle of a biological protest. The most dangerous form of laziness doesn't look like a messy room or a missed alarm. It looks like a calendar packed with meetings you secretly dread, a routine polished to perfection, and a life that looks incredible on Instagram, while your soul is quietly packing its bags and leaving the building. You aren't lacking discipline. You're lacking a reason to stay awake. Imagine a man named Alex. To anyone watching from the outside, Alex was a success story. He was the guy you'd point to if you wanted to define having it together. He was punctual, reliable, and lived his life by a series of color-coded spreadsheets. He woke up at 5:30 a.m., not because he wanted to, but because the productivity gurus told him that's what winners do. He drank the green juice, he took the cold showers, and he answered every email within 6 minutes of receiving it. His life was a masterpiece of systems, a well-oiled machine designed to eliminate friction and maximize output. But there was a growing problem that no spreadsheet could track. Alex was disappearing. Every morning, he'd sit in his ergonomic chair, staring at a flickering cursor, and feel a weight in his chest that felt like lead. It wasn't the fatigue of a hard day's work. It was the exhaustion of a ghost trying to move heavy furniture. He was performing the role of a high achiever, but the actor was losing his voice. He would sit in meetings nodding at the right intervals, his face fixed in a mask of professional interest, while his mind drifted to the window, watching a bird on a branch and feeling a sharp, painful envy for its simple, unoptimized existence. This is the high-functioning trap. Most people think laziness is a lack of motion. They think it's the person on the couch, covered in potato chip crumbs. But the most insidious laziness is the one that stays busy to avoid the truth. It's the person who cleans the entire house to avoid writing the first page of their book. It's the person who stays in a soul-crushing job because the routine is easier than the risk. Alex was busy, but he was lazy about his own life. He was letting his habits drive the car while he sat in the back seat, blindfolded. He had optimized his survival, but forgotten to start his living. Night after night, he would lie awake, his brain buzzing like a neon sign in a dive bar. His body was spent, but his mind was on high alert, scanning for threats, replaying conversations, and rehearsing for a future that felt like a series of upcoming hurdles rather than opportunities. He believed this hypervigilance was a virtue. He thought that if he worried enough, he could prevent his life from falling apart. But his life wasn't falling apart. It was simply never coming together. The harder he tried to tighten the screws of his discipline, the more the internal engine sputtered. He started to look at his peers, people who seemed to have a natural fire in their bellies, and felt a deep, secret shame. He thought he was broken. He thought he lacked the grind gene. He didn't realize that his lack of motivation wasn't a character flaw. It was a sophisticated defense mechanism. One rainy Tuesday, Alex found himself in a forgotten corner of a used bookstore. He wasn't there for a productivity manual. He was there because the silence felt honest. He picked up an old, tattered volume of philosophy and read a sentence that stopped his heart. Most people aren't lazy. They are in a biological protest against a life that doesn't fit. The words hit him like a physical blow. A biological protest. His body wasn't failing him. It was protecting him. His brain was withholding the dopamine and the drive because it refused to fund a project it didn't believe in. You cannot bribe your subconscious forever. You can use caffeine, discipline, and shame to force your body to work for a while. But eventually, the system will go on strike. That strike is what we call burnout, but it's actually an act of mercy. It's your soul saying, I will not let you spend another 40 years doing this. Alex realized that his resistance wasn't something to be conquered. It was something to be consulted. He had been treating his lack of energy like a technical glitch when it was actually a GPS signal. He had been trying to fix the check engine light by putting a piece of tape over it. He started to look back at the moments when he actually felt alive. They weren't the moments when he was productive in the traditional sense. They were the hours he spent fixing a vintage watch for a friend, or the afternoon he spent explaining a complex topic to a neighbor's kid. In those moments, time didn't exist. Effort didn't feel like a withdrawal from a bank account. It felt like a deposit. He wasn't lazy when he was doing things that resonated with his core curiosity. He was a powerhouse. The problem wasn't his engine. It was the fuel. He had been trying to run a Ferrari on salt water and wondering why it would not win the race. We are taught from a young age that discipline is a moral virtue and laziness is a sin. But this binary is a lie. Discipline is just the ability to do what you said you would do. It is a tool. But if you use that tool to build a prison for yourself, is it still a virtue? If you use your incredible work ethic to climb a ladder that is leaning against the wrong wall, have you really succeeded? Alex decided to stop the war. He stopped waking up at 5:30 a.m. to do things he hated. He stopped the cold showers that only served to make him angry before sunrise. Instead, he started an audit. Not an audit of his time, but an audit of his soul. He looked at every task, every meeting, and every relationship and asked, is this giving me life, or is it stealing it? He realized that he had been living a should life. I should want this promotion. I should enjoy this networking event. I should be grateful for this stable, boring path. But should is the language of the ego. Want is the language of the spirit. He didn't quit his job the next day, but the power dynamic shifted. He stopped seeking validation from a system that didn't know his name. He started carving out pockets of rebellion hours in the day where productivity was banned and curiosity was king. And a strange thing happened. As he leaned into what he actually cared about, his laziness vanished. The man who couldn't focus for 10 minutes on a report could now spend 4 hours researching a topic that fascinated him. His energy returned not because he got stronger, but because he stopped wasting it on the internal friction of pretending to be someone else. We are often told that the path to success is paved with suffering. But what if the path to true impact is paved with alignment? What if the things you think are your greatest weaknesses, your boredom, your resistance, your lack of focus, are actually your greatest allies trying to steer you home? If you feel tired right now, it might not be because you've done too much. It might be because you've done too little of what matters. It's time to stop calling your signal laziness and start calling it the truth. For the next week, I want you to conduct a frequency audit. Every night before you go to sleep, look at your calendar. Don't look at what you accomplished. Look at how you felt. Mark every hour with a plus or a minus. A plus for energized tasks where you felt present and alive. A minus for drained tasks where you felt like you were performing or waiting for it to end. Don't try to change anything yet. Just gather the data. If you realized halfway through this video that you've been living a should life, drop a comment with the word protest. It's time we stop shaming ourselves for having a soul that refuses to be a machine. Subscribe if you're ready to find the work that actually wants you back.